Had this interview with a 2-year-old at the border without her parents. Watch.
Venezuela, mamá. Venezuela. ¿Sí? ¿Qué tantos años tienes? ¿2 años? ¿No vienes con tu mamá y tu papá? ¿No? ¿Venezuela? ¿Para dónde vas, mamá? ¿Dónde están? ¿Estados Unidos?
That 2-year-old was part of a group of 211 migrants who were crossing over into Maverick County. There were 60 unaccompanied minors, 60 little kids like that. And you know what? No parents to be seen. There she is, showing that she's 2 years old. All she's got is that piece of paper. And on that piece of paper is a name and a phone number. And her entire future is on that piece of paper. Can you imagine you lose that piece of paper? But that's the way this system is set up, and that's how the cartels are gaming it. There's the person, they're going to call that number, they're going to say, we've got this little girl down at the southern border, Maverick County. How can we get her to you?
Does that work? Do they actually call the number?
They absolutely do.
And they put them back together with mom and dad?
It's not mom and dad. It's oftentimes human traffickers.
Right, but they say she said
mom and dad.
I know that's what she said.
First of all, so many thoughts go through
That's probably
our
what she was
minds.
told.
It's like, why would mom and dad come across without their child?
Right.
Why would they send their child? Is that how desperate they are? Or what is the reason? But it breaks your heart when you see this happening. And this little girl, no telling who she's going to. It's a safety issue. Who's she going to? Is she going to be trafficked? Is she going to some person that's going to put her to work and pay her? I heard you're on your show this weekend. You talked about how they're told
that was our lead.
You're making $2 a day down in Mexico. You can make $6 an hour if you go to America. That's the ploy to get them to come, and then they come here and they never pay off their debt and they have to keep working.
Yeah, Hughes Tara wrote us. She asked to help. When she showed up, she wasn't playing puzzles. She wasn't playing jacks with these kids. She was realizing they were being sent out with strangers. She told, then she eventually got fired for speaking up. Listen to her story.
The government made an all-call. They knew they had a crisis at the border in 2021, and me and a lot of other federal employees, we raised our hand and said, hey, send me. I will go. I thought I was going to be doing puzzles and playing games with the kids. The children were telling us that they did not know who they were going to, or worse, that they were actually lured here, and that they were told, hey, if you come to the United States, out of the goodness of my heart, I'm going to pay your journey, but you've got to stay with me and you have to work off your debt until your debt is paid. And of course, the children are never able to get out of debt bondage. They've done incredible things to hide the story. As a matter of fact, still today, HHS is stonewalling the data. Why is HHS holding on to data that would lead to the rescue of children and the prosecution of traffickers who are harming the children? The administration has left a mess. It's broken. This program is broken. This can be fixed with the new administration.
She believes that RFK is the right person. She's talked to him already.
Well, because the HHS manages that when it comes to those separated children. I was listening to the debate back and forth. Some of them, their parents are here, and some of them, their parents aren't there. And they're they traffic them. They pump the girls that are coming across the border with birth control. A lot of those young girls are raped. Part of the thing that was not discussed about the separating children from the parents, sometimes it's not their families. And that is a huge problem.
That's why they got the DNA kits down to the border. You know what Biden did? We're stopping that. It makes no sense. So Steve Hughes said, maybe it's not their parents, maybe it is their parents. You know how to find out? Swab the cheek.
Right, but
swab the cheek.
That particular little girl was all by herself. And they say, oh, well, here's the number for your parents. They're in the United States. That's what she was told. She doesn't know if they're actually going to be there. So we're talking a little bit about the children who are coming in the country right now. There's an eye-opening piece right now in the New York Times talking about, there are millions of migrants in the country right now. Illegally. And what they're doing, they're freaking out. They hear that Donald Trump's going to change everything, so they are racing to get ahead on the crackdown. They're calling immigration lawyers. They're going to information meetings by NGOs. they're trying to inoculate themselves. Essentially, people with green cards who are fine are trying to become citizens as quickly as they can. People who have squishy background where it's like they came into the country illegally, but they've got that paper, what they're doing is they're trying to get an asylum claim. And ultimately, people who are involved in relations with Americans are trying to marry those Americans so they get a green card. Right now. That's going on across the country right now.
If you just show when those kids got separated from their parents, so they brought over for a 6-week window back in 2017 was a huge deal. We could have been seeing that video from day one for the last 4 years. A little girl saying, I'm 2 years old and telling her story. I wonder if it's because Biden lost. Now the Border Patrol is given a little bit more freedom to put these people on camera to show the urgency of the story. And I think Tom Homan, I love that he's out front right now and not quiet. He's getting everybody ready for what's going to be happening and giving everyone a comprehensive course.